Still in Australia, the country's fleet of European-made MRH-90 Taipan helicopters will be grounded after it crashed while participating in multinational drills in Australia. Andrea Santos reports.
Australia's 45-strong fleet of MRH-90 Taipan helicopters would cease flying until further notice after one of them crashed into the ocean during a military exercise. The old Taipan helicopters have been repeatedly grounded in the past after officials complained they are difficult to maintain and that its spare parts is not always available. Australian Army Chief Lieutenant Simon Stewart said they're not going to use the military aircraft until it is declared safe. The aircraft crashed last week while taking part in a multinational military exercise known as Talisman Sabre, which features 30,000 military personnel from Australia, US, and several other nations. Debris from the aircraft has been found, but the 4 crew members are still missing. Around 800 Defense and Emergency Services personnel have joined the search for the 4 missing crew members. Meanwhile, Defense Minister Richard Marles said authorities have lost hope finding alive the missing military personnel, with search efforts changed to recovery efforts following the catastrophic incident. Investigators have arrived on Sunday, while the reason for the crash is still unknown. The crash was the second emergency involving an Australian Taipan this year. In March, the same type of aircraft ditched into the search off the coast of the state New South Wales while on training exercise. Reporting, this is Andrea Santos, SMNI News.
In other news, multi-billionaire Elon Musk reportedly denied access to Starlink in Crimea to prevent a strike on Russia. Hans Marshall has the details.
A New York Times report citing sources familiar with the matter claimed that in 2022, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk did not allow Ukraine to utilize Starlink satellite communication system to attack Russia. The New York Times report also said that SpaceX restricted access to its Starlink systems depending on frontline changes. It also used location data gathered by its service in order to enforce certain limits on satellite communication access, which supposedly caused problems during the counter-offensive of Ukraine. Since the start of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, SpaceX has donated over 20,000 Starlink satellite terminals to Ukraine to provide internet access. However, Kyiv reportedly wanted to use the systems to launch a maritime drone and strike Russian ships at Black Sea ports, to which Musk denied access to Starlink near Crimea. It can be noted that earlier this year, in a Twitter post, Musk said that Starlink will not enable the escalation of a conflict that may lead to World War III. Meanwhile, in June of this year, the Pentagon announced that it had awarded a contract to SpaceX for Starlink satellite communication services in Ukraine, but details on the matter remain confidential. This comes after Musk announced in October 2022 that the operation in Ukraine would cost $20 million a month and could not be sustained indefinitely. This is Hans Marshall reporting, SMNI News.